Hello and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. In today's video we're going to be crocheting into a dried orange peel. I'm going to tell you how to make the dried orange peel as well. There are two ways to do this. You can either crochet into the actual orange peel, or you can make a chain and stick it around your orange peel and make it into a gift tag, a scented gift tag. Again, I'm going to show you how to do this. Thank you very much for watching, and I can't wait to make these with you. So here I've got two sizes of oranges. I've dried out a small satsuma and a large orange. So I'm going to work with the large orange, this one here. And there are two ways to do this. You can either chain to fit the size all the way around and glue, or poke holes through the orange with your hook. You do it with your hook to make sure your hook will go through it. But if you do the one where you push your hook through, you need to make sure that each hole is even all the way around. So I'm going to do that off camera because I want to show you both methods. And when I come back, I will show you that all of the holes around are even. I've chosen this one because when I dried it, it's created this really quite nice star shape in the middle, which I think is very Christmassy. So I'll see you in a minute. So I've nearly finished. I didn't measure it with a ruler. I just did it by eye, and I went through, and I'm just about to do my last one about here. Your hook will get sticky as you go around, so it's probably best if you just have a bit of kitchen roll on standby just to wipe it off, because you don't want your yarn to get all sticky. So the first way to do it, as I said, is to crochet into the actual piece of orange. So as always, we are going to start with a slip knot, which is wrap around to create a loop like that, holding it at the cross section, push through the section attached to the ball and pull on the end. We are not going to crochet this in, we will have to weave this in, and you'll see why in a second. Now the hook size I'm using is a 4mm hook, which is a US size J. And I'm using a white sparkly yarn. It's the same yarn I used for my snowflake. Now it is going to be fiddly, and there isn't much flexibility obviously because of this is quite hard. So you have to kind of wing it a little bit. So push your hook through one of the holes that you made, grab the yarn and bring it through. When you bring through the yarn, bring it up to the top or the outside edge, and we're going to be doing a single crochet. And bring through one, and bring through the slip knot. We're going to be working in threes, so that would be one, and then we need to chain two to give us our 3, and then into the next hole is the start of our 3, making sure I bring it up to the outside edge of the orange, bring it through 1, bring it through 2. So that's our first stitch, and then we're going to chain 2. If you find that your hook is getting sticky, just wipe it down. Take your hook out of the loop and wipe it down. And into the next hole, bring through, yarn over, and bring through the 2 loops on your hook and chain 2. So we're making clusters of 3 stitches. The first one is the stitch into the orange and then chain 2 into the next hole, making sure I pull that loop right through, yarn over and bring through 1 and bring through 2 and chain 2, 1 and 2, and into the next hole, and bring through the 2 loops, chain 2. It is fiddly because the orange hasn't got a lot of flexibility, so when your hook goes through you are having to work a little bit harder. Also, when you put your hook through, don't pull too hard on this bit here, otherwise you might rip your dried orange and that will be that slice out of action. You won't be able to use it. Bring through 1. My hook is getting quite sticky now, the yarn isn't flowing freely. So I'm going to carry on and do the rest of the orange off camera, and I'll meet you back round the beginning. Here I am back round at the beginning, about to go into this last hole. So I've chained 2, in I go, one and 2, and then finish the clusters, chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into this one here, and that is round 1 complete. So that's the round where you actually attach your yarn to the orange itself. This is where we start to get a bit pretty, and when I was going round, I did have to use some washing up liquid onto my hook just to stop it being sticky. So the next round we're going to chain 1, and this is where our clusters of 3 came into it. So we've chain 1, which is into this stitch here. So the next one we're going to double crochet into the actual stitch, my yarn got a bit sticky as well. I don't think I dried out this piece of orange that well. So that was 2, and then into the next one you're going to do 3 single crochets or double crochets, however you use the term. I'm concentrating on going into the actual stitch and not into the 2 chain space. Don't go into the 2 chain space because it will pull your work away from your orange and you want it to sit flat against it. So that's 1, 2, and 3, and then into the next 2 we're going to put a single stitch, so that's 1, and 2, and then in the next one we're going to do 3 stitches all in the same one, so that's 1, 2, and 3, and into the next 2 stitches we're going to put 1 single one, that's 1, and 2, and then in the next one we're going to put 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then in the next 2 it's the single one, and we're going to keep going around, all the way around, and if you have worked in your 3s, then it should end up that your last 2 stitches around here should be a single and a single. So you keep going around, and by doing the 3 stitches in one, it will give you the points here. So keep going round. So it's 3 in one, single, single, 3, single, single, all the way around. Because we started off with a single crochet, and then our 3 cluster, I do actually finish on the last stitch is the 3 cluster. So here I'm going to do the 3 cluster into this one. So that's 1, back into the same stitch for 2, and back in again for 3, and slip stitch to this first single crochet, the chain that you made, the chain that counted as your first single crochet. So come along and snip off the end, and that's it, finished. As I was going around, I was thinking what you could do is, before you started anything, draw around your orange on a piece of card, then do the crochet, and once this has been finished, glue the piece of card onto your orange, and it would actually make a really nice gift tag. So pull out your points a little bit, if they aren't already apparent, just pull them out, and that is what it looks like. If you wanted to hang it from a tree, instead of cutting off your end here, slip stitch into the first chain that you made, which counted as your first single crochet, then chain as long as you wanted, loop it back down and slip stitch back into here, and then cut your piece of yarn off like so. So now you need to weave in the ends. I'm only going to show you how to do one, although we've got 2 ends. I think I only need to show you this once. Yarn into the eye of the needle. Again, plastic or metal is absolutely fine, it's whatever your preference is, and go back through your work, and you'll be able to feel it going back through your work. If it's tight, just give it a bit of a push and bring it through. This crochet project might be a little bit more difficult than the normal one because of the stickiness, the actual product that you're crocheting into. And that's my end weaved in. I just need to do this one. So before I do that, I'm going to show you how to, instead of going into your piece of orange, I'm going to choose this one. I've just spotted this one. Again, it's got the nice star shape in the middle. Have a look at your oranges and see which one suits. So I'm going to show you now, instead of actually going into the orange, how to chain around the orange and then glue it on. So getting rid of all these bits. Make your slip stitch as normal. And you will again need to work in the 3s. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, all the way until your chain can wrap easily around your orange. It's okay to pull it tight. You do want it tighter rather than looser, so that when you come to glue it there won't be gaping edges. Now normal PVA will do the trick, that's fine. Let's just see if this fits. Might be a bit too big now. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to go with that one. So I did in my head as well as count with you that it was in fact in threes. Instead of bringing it round and creating a circle like that, we're going to this time, just because we haven't done it in a while, we're going to crochet in the straight instead of doing it on the round. So chain one more, which counts as your first double crochet, and then come along into the second chain from the hook. So that's the one that we've just done as our extra, and so we're going to go into this one, and that's going to be your second single crochet or double crochet, however you term it. And it is okay just to pick up one loop. It's not a garment, it's fine. So that's our two single crochets, because we've got the chain and the actual single crochet. So into the next one we do our cluster of 3. So that's 1, back into the same stitch for 2, back into the same stitch for 3. The next one is going to be a single, and then the second single into the next one, and then we do our cluster of 3 into the next one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. The next one is a single, moving to the next stitch along for the second single, and then the next one is the cluster of 3. So 1, 2, and 3, all in the same stitch, all in the same chain that we just created, and you'll be able to see your pattern started to form here, like so. So carry on going all the way along your chain. Do try both methods to see which one you prefer doing, and I will see you back around at the beginning of the chain. Just done my 2 singles, and in the very last one, which is right by the knot, I need to do my cluster of 3. It's much less stickier doing it this way. 1, 2, and 3. So it looks like a wiggly worm at the minute, but you do need to straighten it out, moving that piece out of the way. Straighten it out to make sure it's not twisted. All the way along, and slip stitch into the chain to give you the round. So we're going to make a loop to hang it on the tray. I'm not going to count these chains because you know how long you want your loop to be. And bring it back down and slip stitch back where we just brought the chain out of. Cut the yarn, pull through and pull quite firm on that knot after you've fastened it off, and that's your loop to hang it off the Christmas tree. So when you glue it on, glue along this edge here and then put it all the way around. It is going to get fiddly, but it's Christmas, it's worth it. So that's the one with it just around and not in the actual orange, and this is the one with it in the orange. Which one you do is entirely up to you, but have fun making them, and do try out the gift tag idea of what I would do is draw around the orange now and cut the piece of card out. I would use card, otherwise the paper might get a bit, I don't know, it wouldn't look right against this. And again, you can go wild and choose whatever card you want. It might be nice to match it to the colour of your yarn. So cut it out. Don't stick it to this before you've made your crochet. Do all the crochet first, stick it on, let the glue dry, and then put your piece of card on. Write on the piece of card first and then stick it on, because if you try and stick the card on here and then write it on, leaning against the fragile orange piece, it might break. I do think they'd make really, really nice gift tags, and quite large ones as well, so you could write a little love message on them. So have fun with that. Let me know how you get on my Facebook page, and thank you so very much for watching another Create Crochet video.